Top of the day to you. This is Wisdom Farm. I am Newton Osabohie Uji Irariwa. And today on Wisdom Farm, I just come to occupy some few minutes of your time because I know that this day will turn out to be one of the best days you've ever lived. Favor will come in from all the four cardinal points of the earth, and God will continue to bless you in Jesus' name. Today on Wisdom Farm, I want to ask, do you understand that fight before you get into it? Not to worry, you'll get me later. On Wisdom Farm today, I want to share a personal story with us. It is about my days in the university. I was in school at that time, and there were some class of boys, we call them the senior boys, senior men and women. They were big boys. They had a party in school. The party was good, and everybody that matters in school, in campus at that time, were invited to that party. The party was so serious, and a lot of us did not attend because we were not counted among the big boys. It so happened that within the party, they had a fight. What really caused the fight, I cannot tell. But they had disagreement, and blood was shed. One or two students died. The fight was tough. After that, the residue of the fight was taken into the entire campus, and some head rolled for that. For that, the school authority stood up and was vehemently against it. And they stood and said, why do this? And it so happened that the vice chancellor at that time, who was a lady, did not want to accept it. So in the national newspaper, just 3 days later, it was published. About 41 students were rusticated from the school. And you cannot, when I went through the list, I shivered. 2 students that were 600 level in medical school were among. Engineering students, about 4 of them were among. These were people who have read to that level, and because of this terrible evil, they were asked to go home without the safety car, and as if they wasted their life. It was then it dawned on these big boys that all the years they spent in school, all the money the father spent, all the time they spent, were just swept away, just with one wave of mistake. When they realized this, they knew they were not going alone. So what did they do? They came back to the campus. They didn't go home. Of course, they were already rusticated. They came back and they decided to sell an idea to all the simple minds, all the younger boys that were there, including me. So they came and brought out an idea that the school were having a terrible time in the hostel, that the water were not flowing well, the sanitary condition of the school was not. They just showed us small ideas like that. Those ideas we say, yes, that's true. But these things this challenges we have been passing through, nobody talked. It was only when they were rusticated that they brought us to our notice. And just because as at that time we never thought twice, we joined. And they rose up in demonstration against the school, not knowing that they had an ulterior motive. So it was when the demonstration was going, buildings were now burned, the exams and record was about to be set on fire, that it dawned on some of us that, what is this? What has our challenges got to do with burning down buildings? It was then some of us realized that, these people had an ulterior motive. It was because they were rusticated from school. That's why they stood up and say, we not go grow, we not go agree, we must fight to burn. And that's how that fight went. But it was too late then, because a lot of damages has been done. The school was finally closed down, and everybody were sent packing from the school. I understood one thing from there, that in any fight you want to fight, make sure you understand where the fight is starting from. Don't just join fights from the middle. Somebody didn't offend you, you are quarreling with the person. You don't know how the person that told you about that person, you don't know how the fight started. You understand? That is why sometimes I tell people, in the scriptures, you look at it, when it was time for Pharaoh to discover that he was afraid that children of Israelites were excelling, and because of that, he recruited the midwife to help him kill children. Those ones said, no, we're not involved in your fight. We have no problem with the Hebrew women. So they didn't join in the fight. That is the advice. When you see a fight, don't just join. hating somebody, fighting somebody, husband and wife have quarrel, you just jump into it in the middle. When by the time they settle, you will be the evil one in between. So I'm guaranteeing you, as you carry on your lawful duty, as you do the rightful things in life today, make sure before you join in that fight, before you take side, understand the fight and understand your ulterior motive behind the fight. That is only when you will come out of scratch. Because if you go into a fight like that, you may be damaged and be destroyed. So I tell you today, on Wisdom Farm, come closer. In the name of the resurrected Jesus, any fight that you know nothing about will not spill your blood. Evil will not come to you. Throughout today, accident will not come your way. That the name of God be glorified. Be very careful. I tell you once again, make sure in all that you do not join in that fight. Do not be recruited to hate another person. And in so doing, you have a peaceful life. May God bless you. Shalom.